Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos Dibra Maskal Mi Konsur Rabbanan Ladura. Let's begin by looking at the flowchart of the Gemara, so you can better see what Tosfos is coming to explain. So over here we had the question of Abaya, in a situation, in a case where a person lifted up an item when he was standing with Rishus HaYochid on Shabbos, and extended his hand out into the Rishus HaRabbim, which is also to do on Shabbos. Did we make his hand a carmelist? What do we say about making his hand a carmelist? Mi Konsur Rabbanan Ladura, or do we say the Rabbanan gave him a knas that he can't bring his hand back in now because it's a carmelist, or not? Or do we say they didn't impose this knas to give his hand the status of a carmelist? Let's start with a general outline of Tosfos. So Abaya asked if you give a person's hand that's extended into another rishus the status of a carmelist. Mi Konsur Rabbanan Ladura. So Tosfos will present two ways of understanding how one's hand becomes a carmelist. Let's see it now in the flowchart. So here we had the question of Abaya. What do we say about making a person's hand a carmelist? Do we say to give him a knas that he can't bring it back, or not? Says Tosfos, he presents the words of the Ri, that it seems that the correct gersa is mi asorua. Did they make it asur for him, and not mi konsua? Did they give him a knas? Why does Ri say this? Because later on the Gemara says we could learn the two brises. We present the two brises. We could learn them differently than we thought originally. That they're arguing whether his hand is turned into a carmelist, receives the status of a carmelist or not. We can say the argument's about something else. That they both hold that it's not a carmelist. And one brisa says he can bring his hand back in because it's a situation where he extended his hand out before Shabbos began, so we don't give him a knas. And the other brisa that says asur, it's referring to a case where he extended his hand out on Shabbos, so we gave him a knas. So there we see that later on when we put aside the explanation that it's a carmelist, the alternative is that it's asur because of a knas. This seems to indicate that beforehand we weren't talking about a knas. So therefore the correct girsa says is mi asaru, it's not an issue of a knas. Continues Tosfos and says that it's possible to also use the girsa of mi kansua. And we can say that mi kansua, did they give him a knas to be a carmelist? In other words, the Ri said the two options are either we made it asur, his hand is now a carmelist. The alternative is that it would be asur because of a knas. So did we make an isur, his hand is a carmelist, or do we give a knas? It says Tosfos continues and presents an alternative, which is the two options could be: do we give him a knas that his hand is a carmelist, or do we just give him a knas? Now, what would be the difference if we give him a knas that his hand is a carmelist, or just a regular knas? Tosfos explains it's the same exact difference that would be between making it asur and a knas, and that is that if they gave him a knas that his hand is a carmelist, so now that it's a carmelist and that's the knas that was imposed, it'll be there in every situation, regardless of the circumstances. So we wouldn't distinguish whether the person extended his hand out b'shegig or b'mezid. We wouldn't distinguish whether he extended his hand out before Shabbos or on Shabbos. However, if it's a knas, then we will distinguish between, if he extended it before Shabbos, we won't give him a knas. If it was on Shabbos, we will give him a knas. If he did it b'mezid, we will give him a knas. If he did it b'shegig, we won't. So to summarize, Tosfos presents two girsos of our Gemara. Is it mi asarua in the original question of Abaya, that it's a carmelist, mi asarua? And the Ri prefers that explanation and says that's the contrast between what we thought originally, mi asaru, and it's a carmelist, and later on when we say it's not a carmelist, it's mi konsua. Tosfos presents another explanation, not that of the Ri, which is that the difference, what changed originally and later, is did we give it a knas that is a carmelist, or was it just a regular knas without giving the hand the status of a carmelist?